If you haven't had this German Kartoffelsalat before, you might be thinking to yourself, what's the big deal? It's just another potato salad. Ooh, do I have a surprise for you. My friend Alex told me about it last week, how his auntie used to make it when he was a kid, and he was drooling just thinking about it. So I knew I had to try it, and let me tell you, it's every bit as good as he said it was. Thinly sliced boiled potatoes and hot vinegary broth that soaks and mixes into them. And if executed correctly, the result is better than good. It's schlanzig, but more on what that means later. For now, let's take care of the potatoes. I got some new potatoes that I'm gonna throw into a small pot. And if you can, look for a potato that's on the starchy side. I'm gonna cover these with hot water and add a couple of teaspoons of salt. That might look like a lot, but it's not, trust me. And that's where I immediately want to break some traditions. If it was up to me, I would throw these in the oven and bake them instead of boiling them. It's also what I do when I make mashed potatoes. In my opinion, that gives you a potato that's more concentrated in flavor, which hasn't absorbed any water, which is important for soaking up that warm vinegary broth later. But I don't want any beef with the Germans, so we're boiling the potatoes. These are gonna take 15-20 minutes to cook, or until they're knife tender. I'm gonna drain the water out of these and then lay them out on a wire rack so that they can cool down before we can handle them. Now that these have cooled down a little bit, but they're still warm, we can peel them. Okay, I've got my potatoes peeled. I'm gonna grab a deep dish and I'm gonna start slicing these really thin. The thinner you slice them and the more slices you have, the more surface area there's gonna be for that broth to soak in. That's gonna allow even more moisture to escape. Trying to get the broth to soak into a wet potato is like trying to apply face cream when you're sweating. And that was also my point from earlier about baking the potatoes instead of boiling them. Actually, before I continue, and speaking of broth, let's get that going. In the meantime, into a small pan, I'm gonna add a cup of beef stock. If you wanted to, you could add vegetable stock, and that would make the salad vegan. Basically, add whatever stock you want. I'm also adding about 15 ml of apple cider or white wine vinegar. One medium-sized onion that I'm gonna finely dice. I'm also gonna add a big pinch of salt and a few cracks of black pepper. Once that comes up to a boil, I'm gonna kill the heat and stir in a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And then I'm gonna carefully pour it over the sliced potatoes. Now we're gonna give this a good mix. Of course, I could have done with a bigger bowl, but these sliced up into a little bit more than I expected. Anyway, alles gut. Now, I know what you think. This looks a little watery right now, but we're gonna cover it with another plate and we're gonna let it stay like this for at least an hour, stirring occasionally. But ain't nobody got time for that, so I've got a bowl that I've made earlier today. And if everything's gone to plan, those potatoes would have absorbed most of the broth, and whatever is left has formed this beautiful glossy coating around them. This is schlanzig, that creaminess, which I think is best described by this sound. Now we can season this with some oil. I'm using some good quality olive oil, but you can use whatever vegetable oil you prefer. If we added the oil earlier together with the broth, that would have coated the potatoes and it would have created a barrier between the potatoes and the broth, and it would have prevented the potatoes from absorbing the broth as well. I'm also gonna add some chives and give everything one last good stir. Let's give this thing a taste. Needs a little bit more salt. And as I said, don't be afraid to salt these. I'm gonna top it with some more chives and our Kartoffelsalat is done. But how does it taste? Wunderbar. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. It's super creamy, yet very light. And that's because there is a minimal amount of fat in this. It's that emotion that we created. It's schlanzig. If you don't like vinegar though, this salad is not gonna be for you. But if you do like vinegar, you've gotta go give this thing a try right now. Roll out!